Come vape with me. This is a second video for people who were thinking of switching from smoking to vaping, or people who have switched and are not happy with what they've bought. So in the UK and in the EU, these things, an ego battery with a tank on the end, are very popular at all the till points in all the shops. They hang there waiting to be bought. So if you bought one of these, which is an ego battery with a tank on the end, and you are disappointed, then there's help. Find your way to a vape shop, or look for something that might be at the till, perhaps in a box or a more sophisticated packaging, something with a bigger battery, and this little connection there, which is a USB connection that takes you through to your computer, so that you can vape and charge your device at the same time. These are intermediary devices, and you will see the difference in size. Do you see the battery on this one is bigger? And having a bigger battery is very useful to people who are not getting enough out of a small battery that doesn't last so long and doesn't give a good oomph to your vape. You need a device that has got a thicker battery, and especially find one with this connection, this little mini USB connection on the bottom. So they come in many different designs. Some of them are very elegant. This is one. This is a silver one. There's the connection, which allows me to vape it and charge it at the same time while I'm working on my computer. This one has a tank that you fill from the bottom. In other words, you screw the bottom of the tank to fill them. These devices are very popular. They're very easy to take out. They also fit in your pocket. And you can get them in pleasing colors for women. Men seem to dominate vaping. Everything that I find is aimed at men. Big macho things, or it's always black and silver and nothing really delightful and inspiring for women. So this is an intermediary device. This one has got a top filling tank, and it's got a thicker battery, and you can vape this whilst you are charging it. These little details are very important. I was talking in my last video about atomizers. In all the tanks in vaping, in all the tanks, that's the bit that holds the e-liquid, there is a little atomizer, and it sits there waiting for the e-liquid for it to vaporize. This is an atomizer. It fits into the tank that you will buy with your intermediary device. When you get your device, wherever you buy it from, sometimes, occasionally, I have seen them beautifully packed in boxes at till points or tobacco sections in shops. You will get an atomizer, probably, with your device. So sometimes you've got to check whether there is an atomizer in your tank, or whether you have to fit the one that you've been provided with. Or you might have one in the tank Remember, you have to fill it with e-liquid before you can vape it. And the atomizer that you get in your purchase will be an extra one. But whatever you buy, you are going to have to buy atomizers that fit the machine that you've bought. And like I said in the ego video I made, remember, use the connection cable that is given to you or that you purchase with your device. That's important for vaping safety. These kind of wicks hanging off the atomizer are not currently used much anymore. These tiny atomizers, and inside there there is a wick and coils that allow the electricity from the battery to work on the e-liquid that it draws in. You are going to have to buy more atomizers. Be careful, buy the ones that fit your device. There are thousands of different kinds of atomizers for thousands of different devices. So make sure that you find out when you buy the device what kind of atomizer it uses so you can reorder it. You can go into a vape shop. You can check the stuff they've got for beginners. You can order online. There's many different options to buying useful and pleasing vaping devices that is not just picking one up from the till as you were passing with your weekly shop. So let me repeat, you might have bought a little ego at the counter when you were doing your shopping. But this kind of device, which is a fatter, thicker battery, longer too, will last you better. And if you buy it in a pack, you will get a tank that fits it. If you buy it completely separately, just like that, you need to make sure that the tank that you buy to fit it actually lines up with the battery, and you don't buy a fat round tank which would look ridiculous stuck on the end of a battery. You need to have the tank to match the diameter of your battery. So to me, I would start with this kind of intermediary device that you can charge whilst vaping, while you're at your computer or possibly in the car. And always you need two. You need two egos if you bought them. If you bought one and you find it runs out in a few hours and you're left without anything, you will have a cigarette. If you've got two egos and you go out and you use the power in the one and you then switch to the next one, you won't have a cigarette. And likewise with these devices, which are smaller actually than what I'm going to talk about in my next video, you need two. I always go out with two. I have those two which I go out with. They have different flavors on them, and I'll talk about that some other time. But I use two because even though they're bigger and longer than a little ego that you have, they also run out of oomph and power. So always have backup, 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 backup. Now, next video, I want to talk about box mods, because if you go to a vape shop, I've had numerous letters from people saying, I'm so disappointed. They talked me into buying this huge box mod, and it does this and it does that, but I don't need any of that. So it's actually better to start in simple stuff that might be disappointing and gradually work up to more sophisticated stuff, rather than going out and spending all your money on a big expensive box mod and tanks and all sorts of equipment that, if you're just beginning to vape or you are wanting to try vaping, these complicated things are unnecessary. That's why in these videos I'm starting very simply. So thanks for vaping with me, and I hope you'll watch my next video too.